Bernie Madoff, the mastermind behind the largest Ponzi scheme in human history.
The FBI arrested him this morning after he told senior employees yesterday that his business was a giant Ponzi scheme.
Tonight, as much as $50 billion is gone.
Madoff confessed he hadn't made a single trade in years.
Concept of Wall Street is it's a for-profit enterprise.
In court, he insisted it was all his idea.
And what if I told you he didn't steal that money with violence, not with a gun, not with a mask, not in the dark of night? He stole it with reputation, with trust, with handshakes across polished conference tables in Manhattan. He stole it with a calm voice and steady returns that never seemed to fail. That's what makes this story uncomfortable. It forces us to confront a truth we don't like to admit. Sometimes the most dangerous crimes don't look dangerous at all. Welcome to Before the Fall, where we uncover the rise, the deception, and the collapse of the world's most powerful figures. If you want more stories like this, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share, because the next empire might already be falling.
Where Bernie Madoff has just been sentenced for the biggest investment fraud in Wall Street history. A federal judge ordered Madoff to serve a maximum 150 years in prison.
150 years? Could we be seeing the world's longest prison duration in Bernie Madoff's sentence? No. As shocking as 150 years sounds, it is not the longest sentence ever given. Terry Nichols, convicted in the Oklahoma City bombing, received multiple life sentences totaling over 160 years without parole for acts of terrorism. Sentences like that reflect extreme violence, the kind that shatters communities in an instant. But Bernie Madoff's 150 years wasn't about violence. It was about betrayal. When Madoff entered a Manhattan courtroom in 2009, he wasn't a masked criminal dragged in handcuffs. He was a former chairman of NASDAQ, polished, respected, someone who had shaken hands with the financial elite for decades. Then he pleaded guilty to 11 federal felonies: securities fraud, wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, and perjury. No trial, no theatrics, just the quiet, devastating admission that the empire he had built was a lie. For decades, he had orchestrated the largest Ponzi scheme in human history. Investors believed in his secret strategy: steady, consistent returns regardless of the market. The truth? There was no strategy. New investor money paid old investors. Statements were fabricated. Confidence was performed. And when the 2008 financial crisis hit, the illusion collapsed, leaving billions gone and lives destroyed. The courtroom was heavy with grief. Families had lost retirements, college funds, entire charitable foundations. The judge called the crimes extraordinarily evil and handed down a sentence designed to ensure Madoff would die behind bars. He was sent to the federal prison in Butner, North Carolina. Gone were the suits, the office, the prestige. In came the routine, the uniform, the confinement. And in 2021, at the age of 82, he died after serving just under 12 years of that symbolic 150-year sentence. Madoff didn't steal with a gun. He stole with trust, with reputation, with handshakes.
Trades.
What do you mean there were no trades?
I made them up.
Weren't there statements?
Every month they were fake. Purchase dates, they were fake. Shares, they were fake. Options, they were fake. Returns, they were fake.
So when was the last trade you executed?
15 years ago.
But here's the real question. If Bernie Madoff fooled Wall Street for decades, who finally exposed him? It wasn't the SEC. It wasn't the banks. It wasn't the financial experts who were supposed to be watching. It was one man who refused to believe the numbers. Long before the collapse of 2008, long before the arrest, a financial analyst named Harry Markopolos saw something that didn't make sense. Madoff's returns were too perfect, too consistent, too smooth, even when the market was crashing. Markopolos did the math, and what he found shocked him. He concluded that it was statistically impossible for Madoff to be making those profits legally.
Linear algebra and statistics, both normal and non-normal.
How long did it take you to figure out that there was something wrong?
It took me 5 minutes to know that it was a fraud. It took me another almost 4 hours of mathematical modeling to prove that it was a fraud.
Not unlikely, not suspicious, impossible. So what did he do? He warned the authorities. Again, and again, and again. For nearly a decade, Markopolos sent detailed reports to the SEC explaining that Madoff was running what he believed was a Ponzi scheme.
What were the things that caught your attention?
It was the performance line. As we know, that markets go up and down, and his only went up. He had very few down months. Only 4% of the months were down months, and that would be equivalent to a baseball player in the major leagues batting .960 for a year. Clearly impossible. You would suspect cheating immediately.
Maybe he was just good.
No one's that good.
He even titled one submission, "The world's largest hedge fund is a fraud." But nobody acted. Nobody listened. Until 2008, when the financial crisis hit, investors rushed to withdraw billions of dollars. That's when the illusion shattered. There was no money. There were no trades. There was no strategy. On December 10th, 2008, Madoff confessed to his sons that the business was one big lie. The next day, he was arrested.
Where Bernie Madoff has just been sentenced for the biggest investment fraud in Wall Street history. A federal judge ordered Madoff to serve a maximum 150 years in prison.